Welcome back to CycloneCORE overview, and I want to tell you a few tips in addition to the tips I told you in the prior version. Okay, so let's go through the sales letter here a little bit. CycloneCORE Trading Systems, a simple options trading system. Simple, but it's super powerful, okay? And it's just like we found this mystery that was just right before our eyes. And how did we find this mystery? Well, we just scroll back that little rolling thing on the mouse, and we shrunk up the chart, the price chart, one day, and I think it was like 2008 or something like that. Maybe it was before that. And we realized, hey, wait a minute. Let's look at this chart like a caveman. Okay. So what make money? What's making money? So what's in a simple glance with a non-focused glance, just to get a general perspective of the price chart. We looked at the chart and realized, hey, wait a minute, look at this. Look at this repeated pattern. This keeps happening over and 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 over. And over. Okay, and it keeps going, and it goes back years and years and years on all stocks that we were looking at. Okay, and so we said, hey, well, even some stocks look better than others, right? And what's this pattern? Okay, let's pop on here's some trading view charts. So what's this pattern? There is a monthly price cycle, okay? And so we want to simply exploit it. Okay, we want to be able to take advantage. Let's go back to, we can just look here in Apple, okay? There we go. In some months, we'll have the consolidation. We realize that, hey, wait a minute. Let's not even try to guess the consolidation. Let's just put a position so the math works out in front of these moves and let the math give us money, right? So let's take advantage of these moves, these moves, these moves, these moves, these moves, okay? All right, now NVIDIA. So why not just be in front of these moves? They happen all the time. Let's make money, even if we just have a small position, okay? Here's SPY. We looked at that in the first video. And let's just capture these. And see, I want to impress upon you how powerful this is, because these are huge moves, okay? And as I mentioned before, a huge move is going to be relative to the options prices. So if you can triple, quadruple, quintuple, etc., your options position, that's big, okay? That's huge. And so on some months, you may just have your position stop out, okay? And maybe you end up with what? 50% loss, okay? 60, 70% sometimes. And or sometimes 30%. Depends on your position. And so you can put on your position. And so you say, okay, let's say I have an average 50% loss. But if you're able to get these big moves that go into many-fold returns and start to drive your position deep into the money, so you're just making, near tick for tick or even tick for tick, then you're going to accumulate a big advanced forward in your account. Okay, this is similar to a turtle trader type of concept. You have your losses. Those are your cost of doing business. You have your big gains. Okay? Your big gains brings in the funds. Those are your revenues. All you need is your revenues to be greater than your cost. And the more you can have your revenues greater than your cost, the greater profit margins you have. And the greater profit margins you have on average, the greater chance you will have for success over the long term. So let's get back to the point of this video. We're going to talk about tips and wisdom. So I mentioned before, hey, why not just trade one contract? Okay, of course, you want to study historically and so on. And you want to find your sweet spot options, your sweet spot stock, I should say, with good options, meaning that when the stock moves, it can pay you and pay you big. Okay, so you place your trades once a month. It's a little bit more than that, but essentially that's the picture. Okay, it's really simple. If the market is just going to keep doing the same tendency over and over like it has for decades upon decades, well, let's step in front of that tendency with a nice options position. All right, let's take advantage of it. All right, so here, let's look at these secrets to success. Ancient wisdom: don't glean the fields. Now, have you heard that statement before? I'm trying not to start bursting out chuckling, but remember a guy named Wade Cook? He became really popular. He sold a lot of shiny books with lots of colors, and he talked about rolling stocks and all sorts of cool things like that, fun sounding things, stock splits. And that stock split approach was pretty smart. Okay, anyways, it was pretty funny. Okay, and he became very, very popular. Unfortunately, his strategies weren't very specific. His system, well, he didn't have any systems. He just kind of saw some sort of fun-looking thing in the market and, looked to trade by feel in a nice bull market and get lucky. And of course, you have traders who develop more and more over time. And who knows, maybe he's developed into a great trader. I don't know, okay, at this point in time. But I appreciated what he did out there. It was fun. And he used to talk about this concept, don't glean the fields. Okay, he picked that up from the Bible. And so that means don't try to get every little thing. And this is a huge concept, actually. Don't try to win every time. Don't try to have the mostest of the mostest. Don't try to have the best of the best options position. Don't try to sell at the tippy top and buy at the very bottom. And don't get mad at yourself if you don't sell at the tippy top. You see that a lot. A lot of people talk about that, and they get mad that they didn't sell at the tippy top. Well, that concept of even thinking that you were going to sell at the tippy top, or that you are beating yourself up over not selling to the tippy top. Well, what's behind that? Have you ever thought about it? You hear people saying it's like you feel like cringing. You keep saying it over and over. Oh, I didn't do this and blah, 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 blah. I didn't sell it. I didn't buy at the bottom. Oh, I should have, could have, would have. And so that thinking is related to something that doesn't seem to even sound like it makes sense. As if you were some special person who knew the future, and then you messed up because you already knew the future and you didn't capture it just right, okay? Or you had this intuitive feeling, whereas you think you do, whereas you're trying to be a Star Wars Jedi and sense the force of the marketplace and know exactly where to buy and sell, just kind of by feel. Okay, now, hey, I'm not knocking intuition, because intuition can be very correct if you become that ninja level, Jedi level, self-mastery type of person. Now, that's actually how I started out. I developed my intuition very well, okay, because I started as essentially a child, okay, in the markets. And so I developed that intuition, And that was pretty good. But I realized, you know what, as life became more complicated, as I started growing up, I realized, wow, there's a lot of distractions, out there. And then you get in relationships, and then you get your emotions stirred up more than ever. And then you realize, whoa, what's all this emotional stuff? It's getting in the way. It's hard to hear my intuitive voice. So you realize over time, okay, intuitive trading, maybe it's not the best long term because it can be confused with emotions sometimes, or it can be hard to hear your intuitive gut knowing voice. All right. It takes a lot of concentration, and different people have developed their ability to hear their gut knowing voice than others, right? But let's do an easier way. Let's go caveman, okay? Let's just see the repeatable pattern and pop on a position. And with options, we can put on a risk to reward scenario, whereas we can make the money math work out. And if you don't glean the fields and options, when you don't try to make the mostest of the mostest of the mostest, the best of the best, or to get the best deal, best, cheapest option, and all that kind of thinking, like coupon thinking, okay? When you try to, when you don't glean the fields, as that statement I remember that. I remember reading his stuff and going through his books. That's reading his stuff, but listening to a couple of recordings of him mention that, and I thought, you know what, that's pretty smart. And that's going to help people trade more business-like, okay? And ultimately, I'm not interested in that vague statement of trade as a business. You probably heard that over and over, right? Well, what does that mean? Have these people even owned a business? Have they owned a bricks and mortar business? I have, okay? So it's a whole different world than an internet business, if they even have an internet business. Okay, so you want to form your own trading company. Okay, so it's an official thing. And eventually have, if not right away, people trade for you. So you have to have everything in order, and you have to have clarity. You have to have exact actions for people to take, and so on and so forth. So don't glean the fields, a tribute to Wade Cook. Hope he's doing well. Again, he brought fun to the marketplace, and that's a beautiful thing. You want to be positive, otherwise, if you're negative in the marketplace, you're going to attract negative things. All right. Anyways, we want to not glean the fields concept. Okay, we want to take in a harvest, but not grab every little corn kernel. Okay, leave some for others. This is a marketplace. This isn't some made up thing on paper. You have an exchange. And so there's not going to be absolute. That's why you can't have 100% winning in the marketplace. Or if you had a 100% winning pattern in the marketplace and people found out about it, it would collapse the marketplace. Unless that person just, traded really small and didn't let anyone know. Okay, but tendency is, hey, let's go bigger and bigger. Oh, well, let's put on this $1 trillion trade. Oh, well, you can't. Sorry, there's no opposite side of the marketplace. So, point is that don't glean the fields means that, hey, let's get in front of these moves, these monthly moves, and not try to make perfection. Okay, not try to have 110% winning, but just simply, bluntly, caveman-like, cavewoman-like, just put your position on to just have these moves happen on a monthly basis. Okay, happen on a monthly basis, and then some months you have to just accept up front that some months are just going to be slow consolidations, and in those months you're just not going to make much at all, or you'll have some loss, okay? But the loss relative to the big gain, on average, when you have big gains, depends on your average big gain, but will be small. All right, that's the wisdom tip according to CycloneCORE here. I figured, hey, let's talk about these principles because that's good stuff, all right? And it relates to this system. If you want more information, you should see a link below, unless you're seeing this video on the page. That's it for